Hello everyone and welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. Last video we did a bunch of maintenance trims, and those maintenance trims are done to prevent problems like you're going to see in today's video. Today's video we've got a white line lesion that we need to clean up, and it's got some digital dermatitis once again that has colonized on that lesion. Whenever I'm dealing with a lesion like this, I always like to start with the affected claw. And the reason I do that is I want to be able to remove some material, number one, so I can get a good look at that lesion and see the extent of it. But also I want to be able to tell if I'm going to need to apply a block to that other claw, and that's how I'm going to determine, how I'm going to prep that other claw. If I'm going to put a block, I'm going to clean around the edges a little bit more. If I'm just going to, if it doesn't need a block, I'm just going to trim it as I normally would. So that's why I start with this. It also allows me to really see the extent, if it's going to work up toward the hairline, which way it's going to track when I do start working with my knives. So when we're dealing with white line lesions, these lesions are going to do one of three different things. Either it's going to be a localized lesion, meaning it's going to be in one small little area that needs to have the horn removed from it, or the second option is that lesion will actually track up that outside wall and terminate at the coronary band, which is way up at the top, kind of by the hairline on the outside wall of the hoof. Or the third thing that it can do is actually separate the sole at the lesion site and work its way out toward the heel out the top there, which is what this one has done. You'll get a better look at this here in a minute, but the initial lesion site is there at the bottom, and it works its way up the top, and that's where it released. Good grief, who sharpened that knife? Instead of sharpening it, I think it made it more dull. Well, that's better. So now what I have to do is I have to remove all of this loose stuff that's going to be around this lesion site. I want to work down slowly and just take the loose stuff and work my way up, clean the lesion site out a little bit, take a little more. That way I avoid hitting any of that tissue that's underneath. I don't want to do that, especially when I'm dealing with a case like this where I've got some digital dermatitis underneath that. I want to make sure that I'm not doing any nicking underneath there to cause bleeding, because that's going to affect the outcome of the healing. So I want to take my time with this and not make any mistakes. I get questions quite a bit about what the consistency of hoof is like. The outside wall of the hoof is got the hardness or the consistency of, be like if you were cutting through a piece of hardwood, like a piece of oak. The inner part of the hoof, or the sole of the foot, is similar to like cutting through a hard rubber. That's the two different types of consistency in that horn. So, and you can kind of hear it when I'm working on this outside wall here. You can hear that sound. From this angle, you can see the new horn that's tried to develop in this lesion, and then you can see these little pockets in here of digital dermatitis that are starting to colonize on these different spots. And these are the areas that we got to get cleaned up so we can get a good solid layer of horn here and get this cow healed back up to normal. If you are one of my regular viewers, you know what's coming next. We're going to prep this claw and apply a rubber block to it, and that's going to elevate that injured claw off the ground. And yes, we are going to put a salicylic acid wrap on to clear up that digital dermatitis. Salicylic acid sounds like something you wouldn't want to put on a foot, but actually it's a pretty common ingredient used in acne creams and things like that for humans. And it's so it's going to help clear up this digital dermatitis and offer her some localized pain relief. Some of you have noticed that I've switched the color wraps that I use. There's nothing different about them, just simply a different color. Apparently there is a shortage on wraps due to the shortage on latex. So my color choices are limited, and purple was one that I had to choose from. So I went with that, even though it's about my least favorite color in the world. Sometimes you get some jagged edges with that adhesive that I use, so I'm just cleaning that up right now. We will check back on Miss 913 in about a month from now, and we'll see how that healing's come along. As always, guys, thanks for watching. We will see you on the next one.